I was one of the fortunate school leaders that got to host the Spiral of Inquiry Curiosity Cab today. So it started with a conversation with my team, letting them know that upper senior admin had selected our school. And the energy, I just have to say, was just really inspiring to our staff who have been doing really hard work with our kids. So to have a day like today where 40 educators came in and we got to showcase our Spiral of Inquiry and the hard work we've been doing is going to gain momentum with, I know, at our school and the 2 other schools today that we visited.
Being in the schools was unbelievable. Teachers opening their classrooms and letting us talk with their kids, sharing what they're passionate about, talking about what their worries are and how they're trying to make things better was amazing.
I'm in a position where I'm helping lead a spiral at my school, and sometimes you're wondering if you're on the right track. And as you make your own discoveries and then visit another context in their building and see it in action, you realize everyone's going through this process of rediscovery and adjustment and being inspired to try something actually quite different.
I think a lot of us are engaging in questions and developing hunches and looking at changing our pedagogy and adapting, and the spirals are just a natural framework to use to explore and share what we're doing.
At Juniper Ridge, the focus on reading is making a profound difference.
Hearing students talk about their learning, but learning as skills versus what are you learning. So one of the girls in a grade 2 class at Juniper was writing about seals, but she didn't talk to me about seals at all. Normally students would talk about seals and the parts of seals and what they ate. She talked about how she went to the reading app and she learned how to read, and then she had different reading levels that she went upwards in, and then she talked about how when she was reading, she could learn how to write. And if she could learn how to write, she could learn how to read. And that was that aha moment where the student was focusing on her reading and writing skills, not necessarily the content.
At Brock, the work on engagement and attendance and just kind of hooking kids who are on the fringe into a really meaningful experience in school through the carving program and also through the multidisciplinary work that they're doing in grade 7 and 8 and 9. It makes me shiver.
When we provide students with an opportunity to engage in something that they're passionate about, they rise to the occasion every time. The young man that held out the axe to me and said, "Would you like a try?" I wanted to say no, but when I looked in his eyes, I couldn't. And we ended up having a lovely exchange. And he became the teacher in that moment, and I think really that's what that agency piece is all about.
There's a lot of emphasis on what does deeper learning look like in secondary schools. There's been a massive research study led by a team from Harvard looking at deeper learning in American secondary schools. And what they found was that in curricular areas like during the regular school day, most kids didn't find their learning particularly relevant, meaningful, or purposeful. Where they found meaning in school was in their extracurricular activities. At Valleyview, it was happening in the classroom. The combination between band and English, the cross-curricular work in there, all of those are examples of what deep learning looks like in secondary schools.
As an elementary school leader, to be able to visit my colleagues on their campuses that were secondary, it gives me the vision of our K-12 system. We get so isolated, we work in silos of our school, our classrooms, and for our staffs to be out and about in our district today is a highlight for sure.
When we provide students with an opportunity to engage in something that they're passionate about or that is meaningful to them, they rise to the occasion every time.
The very act of going in and listening is telling them something really important, that they matter, that what they have to say is incredibly important, and that the district is listening.
When we went to Valleyview, there's 4, 5, 6 teachers that are having this incredible impact on so many kids' lives and their outcomes and their communities and their friendships and all those different pieces that come with being at school. And so I think that was a big piece for me.
To see grade 2 students looking up at educators and being able to share their experience of what they have been going through with the Spiral of Inquiry themselves, that is just feel-good moments.
I'm taking away just how meaningful it is when we take pause to work with a small team around us to develop that hunch, scan, look and focus on one small piece that we can do to make a difference.
Those conversations that really keep us inspired and keep us going, and giving opportunity for me to share, as well as my students, as well as my colleagues.
We absolutely have to do more of this.
I'm very grateful to the district and to the board in Kamloops Thompson for supporting their formal leaders, both at the school and the district level, to be involved in this kind of work.